Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So, before I start this video, I guess that I'm supposed to tell you to do all those things that YouTube channel holders usually tell their viewers to do, like and subscribe and comment and all those other things that I'm supposed to tell you. Anyways, now for the real reason you're here, is because you want to see this game that I have. So this one that I have is a really good one. This one isn't actually a game that a player sent to me that was one of their own. A watcher had sent this game to me. This one was played by Deep Blue as the white pieces against Garry Kasparov as the black pieces. So this was the man versus machine battle. We had the computer versus a human. So we're gonna take a look at this one. This one's a pretty unique one. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on this one. Okay, so e4, c6. So Carol Khan. Kasparov is playing the Carol Khan. d4, d5. You know, knight c3, d takes c3, or d takes c4. You know, just normal, standard opening. Nothing really unique. Knight d7 variation. So one quick variation I just want to show. This is a trap. This is one of my favorite traps, by the way. So if white plays queen to e2, sets up along with the king, and if black isn't paying attention, then you can just play knight d6, because this is the normal move, knight g to f6. But if the queen's on e2, that leads to a smothered mate, and I think that that's a pretty nice one. So obviously black couldn't just easily avoid that by even just doing anything like very simple, just moving the other knight. And yeah, but in the game, both of these players being better than the people that normally go for that trap. Obviously you don't try for those traps against world champions, because you're just going to wind up with a queen on e2, which isn't necessarily the best place, and Garry Kasparov is a bit better than someone that would fall into that trap. So Deep Blue played knight to g5. Knight g to f6. Bishop d3, so both sides are just following opening theory, developing the pieces. e6. Knight 1 to f3. And here is h6. So this move is a little bit risky, because there's a sacrifice that white can play here. And I think, now this is me thinking without really researching what he was thinking at the time, or trying to, really look into this. My idea is that he didn't want, or that he thought that the computer wouldn't want to sacrifice. And if the computer doesn't want to sacrifice, then the resulting position for white is pretty good. Or is pretty good, but not like anything substantial, because black has a very solid defense with no real weaknesses. And if, say white just plays knight e4, then the position is pretty much fine for black. It's not really that dangerous. Okay, so computers also usually favor material over anything usually. And so I guess he may have been thinking that, and so he decided to go for this variation to kind of test the computer, because it might be difficult for a computer in this type of position. Okay, and so the move is knight takes e6, because h6 had kind of weakened these light squares. Notice that there's one less piece guarding g6 after h6. And so one variation, not played in game, but this is one possibility. If f takes, bishop g6, notice check, that can't be blocked, so king e7. And then there's no immediate win, but just after something like c4, queen c7, castling, the black pieces are kind of awkward. It's hard to really develop them. Meanwhile, white gets a very easy game, and the black king is going to be weak for a very long time, and he's going to be suffering for a long time. Okay, in the game, something similar happened after Queen e7, so pinning, trying to take without having to damage the pawns, without f takes e6. But after castling kingside, notice that the queen still can't take because the rook would then pin. So f takes. And now white is down a piece, yes, for a pawn. But again, after a very similar variation to the one we looked at, bishop g6, now this king is going to go to d8, and it's not exactly easy to find a clear plan for the black pieces. They're going to be weak for a long time because it's difficult to develop. I mean, you have to think about how all the pieces are getting. Meanwhile, white has a clear, easy way to develop. Just bishop to f4 in the game. This bishop's already on a nice diagonal. Meanwhile, how's black going to get out these bishops? Where are they going? And also think about these rooks in the corner. I mean, where are they going? Meanwhile, this rook already has a nice open file it can get to at any moment. b5, a4, and now the other white rook already has a pretty clear post. He can, do something like he can just take, and then his other rook is going to be on a very nice open file. Bishop to b7, rook e1, knight d5. So the knight comes to d5 with a tempo on the bishop. Sometimes a centralized piece or two can hold the position together. Even if you're in a really bad defensive spot, sometimes just one or two centrally placed pieces can help to beat back an attack. And in this case, definitely a central knight can help, but it's not quite enough to really hold the position together. Bishop g3, king to c8. And yeah, so one thing about this pawn on b5 I'd like to point out is it is at the moment preventing a c4 from white that would kick out the knight. So that is one thing that the b5 move did do that was pretty nice. But the downside was that it did make itself a target for the a pawn. And so when I was looking, I was thinking, I thought maybe b6 might be safer. But I mean, at the same time, looking at the position that white had when he played, or that white had when black played b5, it's really a difficult spot to really assign any move a better or worse, because it's very, very difficult to really pick any real plan here. And for black, it would be very difficult. Maybe the pawn's slightly less exposed there, but either way, it's still very, very difficult in either case. A takes b5, c takes b5. Now that rook's looking nice, and now one thing to look at is the harmony of the white pieces versus the black pieces. I mean, rooks are active, bishops are good. Meanwhile, these rooks still are behind pawns and in corners, and this bishop hasn't moved. So a lot of unused pieces. So even though white is down the piece for the pawn, all of his pieces are active. Meanwhile, these rooks haven't done anything. Queen d3, bishop to c6, since the pawn was stacked. So that holds the pawn. Bishop to f5. So yeah, we notice this pin from the rook on the queen, the pawn and the queen behind it. So the pawn, yeah, is under some pressure here. So yeah, it's very difficult for black here. And so with all of this pressure, he takes the bishop and gets a rook and bishop for the queen. All right. So actually, let's count the material here. So let's just count up. So 5, 10, 13, 16, 19, 22 plus 5 pawns is 27. So we got 27 for black. And then for white, we have 9, 12, 15, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that means we have 26 to 27. So black's a little better in points, but at the same time, position is very, very bad for black in this case, because even though technically he is up that point, the position is very bad, so that small material difference really doesn't matter, because this king's still very weak, and neither rook also is active. It's very difficult. And white plays c4 here. This is a very explosive move, not only because it's c4, but also because it helps to kind of pressure this position more. And in this case, the white piece is doing so good, and it's very, very difficult for black. And being a world champion like Kasparov, he decided to resign in this position because he's just going very downhill very quickly, and there's no like immediate checkmate right here, but it's just it would be very difficult for a player like him to want to play on in a position like this. So this is where the game ends. So yeah, some interesting play here. So yeah, so probably it was really all attributed mostly to this move h6, trying to, I guess, test the computer, and it wound up not working out. Alright, yeah, so computer won this round, the machine won. Kind of makes you wonder how much longer it's going to be until, the AI take over the world. It's only a matter of time, right? Anyways, so that's going to be it for this video. So this was a really interesting game. I recommend that you send me in your own games as well, and also recommend more master games, because those are nice to look at too, and you can learn a lot from them. And this one was pretty interesting. Alright, so that's going to be it for this video. Thank you for watching. Bye.